Julia's hair changes based on her mood. So I couldn't find any information about how her mood changes, but I did see how her change will just, change throughout the series. So in volume 1, it was, 2 strands of hair on the side of her, then the rest of her hair is, just where your hair usually is, and it's pinkish. Then in volume 2, it was her second hairstyle, and it's mainly the same with it being a little bit darker, and it's 2 strands of hair on her side were actually cut off now. Her hair mainly stays the same in volumes 3 and 4. I mean, it is I guess more cyan-ish in 4, while it's more blue, or midnight blue, in 3. In volume 5, it's technically the same, only difference being it's a little longer than in 4, and it's still the same color being midnight blue. And then finally in volume 6, her hair, it's the same from 5, I guess it goes a little bit around her more, and the color is turquoise. I'm pretty sure that's how you say that color. Also, she put some star hair band thingy in her hair now. Ramona's hair inspiration. There's not really any inspiration I could find. All I could really find is that her hair is just wavy hair. Normal wavy hair. Anamanaguchi. I'm not really sure how you say her name. Basically, Anamanaguchi made the Scott Pilgrim soundtrack. That's really all. Waltz's original last name. So basically, Waltz's original last name was actually going to be Weldon. Scott exaggerated the event. So basically, one exaggerated event that Scott did. So basically, when Scott moves to Toronto, I guess, Lisa actually tells Kim about this. Scott doesn't tell Kim. Why? I'm not really sure. But yeah, he exaggerated that he told Kim, but actually he didn't. Lucas Lee was in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. So basically, it doesn't show Lucas Lee playing in the game, some gameplay, but it shows this sticker, Lucas Lee's Evil X Skater 2. And I'm not really sure why it says 2 instead of 4, but yeah. Avatar creator. So there's not really any photos of us that I could find, but basically there's an avatar creator where you create, Scott, but in your own way, I guess. Sadly it was removed and you can't really see it anymore. The Mad TV parody. So I couldn't find a Mad version of this or whatever it said, but I found it's not Pilgrim versus the world. Well, basically it's called It's Not Pilgrim versus the Wonderful World of Disney. Brie Larson was a fan of Edgar Wright, and this actually explains itself already. Roxy's tattoo is an Omnipress demon. I couldn't really find what Omnipress demon tattoo was talking about, because, it doesn't really show much. Paul Robertson. So basically, Paul Robertson's the person that actually, helped make Scott Pilgrim's sprites and the level designs. Ramona's cat, Gideon, makes a cameo in the film. I couldn't really find anything about her cat, just appearing in the film. Seth Rogen could have played Scott. So actually, the reason why Seth Rogen didn't play Scott, it was actually because Brian Lee O'Malley and Edgar Wright, they liked Michael Cera's, awkwardness, because it just kind of fit with the film. Free comic color variations. So basically, I couldn't really find color variations, because usually when I think of color variations, it's usually just, colors switched or just different colors in general. All I could really find was different book cover designs or the original ones. Mobile was inspired by Chris Butcher's, Brian's former roommate, husband. This entry actually explains itself. Julie Power Pack reference. I couldn't really find anything on this because, it didn't really show a reference. But one of Julie's powers is that basically, when she cusses, her mouth gets censored in a funny way. Brian Lee O'Malley's brother designed the 8-bit Universal logo, which explains itself again. Double negative. So basically, in one of these clips, Scott says double negative, well, Wallace actually says double negative. And basically this refers to how, Envy's back in town, and Scott also has to fight Ramona's evil exes. Plus, this is in the middle when Scott and Ramona are taking a small break, and then, getting into the middle of it. Brian Lee O'Malley and his wife cameo in the film. So basically, when the scene zooming on Neil, whatever he's doing, basically if you look to the left, this actually shows Brian Lee O'Malley and his wife, but it's like for maybe a second, so it's actually kind of hard to see. Plus they're kind of darkened out. So, that was layer 5 of the Scott Pilgrim Iceberg, and now we move on to the final layer, which is layer 6. The first draft of the book was complete by the time book 2 was released. This entry actually explains itself, and a fun fact, when volume 6 finished, the movie got started about a few months later. Lawrence, Scott's brother, was working with the twins. So originally, Lawrence has actually got a way bigger role where he was working with Gideon and the twins, but he didn't, so he just gave Scott's guitar. Scott Peng cameo. So in a comic called Peng, made by Omnipress, Scott actually appears in it for a page. Scott is dead theory. So basically there's a theory that Scott died and he's in the desert of Ramona. And technically there's an entry that elaborates on this, but I can't say it yet. But basically the theory is Scott, he's dead because Gideon, stabbed him right through the chest with a sword. Volume 5 metallic cover slipped band. So basically it's this movie pack that includes, I guess Scott Pilgrim movie and these Lucas Lee wannabe movies. Wallace was Dave's cousin. I couldn't really find anything on Wallace having a cousin named Dave. Ramona's dead brother. So basically, Ramona has a dead brother that isn't spoken much in the book, but is spoken in the movie a little. And let's just zoom in on her neck real quick. So basically, our neck, there's a theory that this is her, shoelace to her younger brother, but it isn't. It was proven by Brian Lee O'Malley himself. And then for the final entry of the Scott Pilgrim Iceberg, Scott and Ramona ascended into heaven. So basically, earlier, like a few minutes ago, remember I said Scott and Ramona are apparently in heaven, which is the desert? This entry basically relates to it, and it's basically what Wallace says in this page, or at least in one of the ending pages of volume 6. So, that was the whole Scott Pilgrim Iceberg, made by Market Massive. And yeah, it was pretty long, way longer than Left 4 Dead Iceberg. And I don't really know what Iceberg I'm going to do next, so I guess you could comment which one you want me to do next. And, well, yeah.